All right, everybody. So the new Auto Landscape Material supporting RVT and the Megascan shader are ready. So let me show you how it works. First, let me show the Megascan's material. Here in the material section, you have which is the master material for the Megascans. Double click on it, and you can see just a little connection over here. So from this one, you need to create a material instance, and those are instances that I've created for those big rocks, for this little bench, and for this branch. All right. So if I double click on the first material instance here, we can control everything, guys. So from here, we can control the brightness. You have the ability to control the contrast, the saturation of different rocks, the blending. This is working for the RVT. I'm going to show you how to install it and how it works. But here, let me show you how the RVT works. When I start scrolling, you can see at the bottom that it starts blending with the auto material, with the master auto material. Pretty cool. Okay. We have control over cavity. We have control over the cover. So with this cover, you can enable to cover some snow on top of it, or use the RVT to create some covering on the rocks here. We have the fuzziness, which controls the moss itself. So you can control and change a little bit of the color of the moss over here in the material. You can see. Let's try with the fuzzy power. This is for the first one. So let me go back here in order for you to show you. See how it controls the fuzziness where we have moss onto our rock. I set up some parameters over here. We have a secondary normal, which is a normal detail that you can turn on and off in order for you to add additional options. We have normal intensity, we have slope power, we have specular, we have textures, we have Fresnel, and you can turn on and off if you are using CRDF texture or you're using just our RDO texture from here. And let me show you how it looks in Unreal Engine. So I set up here a little scene using my auto material, and those are all Megascans assets. The bench here is a Megascan asset with tweaking up, with color changing and everything in order for us to blend in with the scene. Let me walk down to the rocks over here so you can see how they blend. Here you can see the perfect blending between the auto material and the rocks itself. You don't have any sharp edges or anything else. And this could work on any, and I repeat, any Quixel asset, all right? You can use this shader on any Quixel asset. Here you see we have a little sharp edge because this is higher than the slope setup. Okay, but here we have nice homogenic transition. And how you can create one, you just need to create an instance from here. And on this branch, let me just go to the branch. When you have your textures, let me just go to the material, open the material. You just need to plug in your textures over here and set up the material onto the branch itself, all right? And you can start tweaking it up. You can make it a little bright. If your scene is brighter, you can tweak the contrast. You can tweak a little bit the saturation. Maybe I can desaturate it a little bit. From here, from the blending, you can start tweaking the blending and the fall off of it and the blend size and the blend fall off. So pretty much you can tweak all the settings from here, and I just set up those settings to be perfect for my instance. And right now, this is how it works. Of course, now let me show you the auto material. In the auto material, if you scroll all the way down, you see enable RVT. So from here, you can enable the runtime virtual texturing over here. So from this checkbox, I set it up. And if you deep dive into the Landscape Auto Material, this is the RVT that we are using. And I made few changes to the output. I also made few functions over here. LERP blending for the RVT. This is the blending for the RVT between the Megascan asset and the RVT. You can take a look, download it through the Patreon, and just play with it. And right now, I'm going to show you how you can install and enable the RVT to work on a clean project. All right. So I'm going to minimize this one, and I'm going to maximize this a clean project. All right. I'm going to create a new level, basic, blank, and I'm going to delete this one. Okay. The next step is I'm going to go to the Patreon files, copy everything from those files, go back to the clean project, right click, show in Explorer, and paste the files under content. Control V to paste the files. And right now I have everything that I need. All right. So right now I have the auto material. I have the Megascan shader over here that we need functions, procedures, quicksell textures. Those are example textures for the auto material, remove foliages, RVT, and textures. All right. So the first thing, I'm going to create a landscape, and I'm going to import from file, and I'm going to select this file, my world, which is included in Patreon. Right. I'm going to paste this, select it, open. This is a height map just to create the landscape itself. Import. Okay. I'm going to go to select. I'm going to disable the exponential height fog. I'm gonna turn on the speed so we can go here, turn off the speed. Okay, pretty good. Next step is I'm gonna delete this player start, and I'm gonna add a new player start over here. Okay, so my player will start from here, right? Pretty cool. The next step is to assign the Landscape Auto Material to create a material instance. Right click, create material instance, mi landscape test. I'm gonna select my landscape, scroll all the way back here to the landscape material, drag and drop, and we're gonna have the landscape material over here showing. Okay, this is the instance. The first thing that I'm just going to do is I'm just gonna disable the water, because for this test I don't want to have the water over here. And then I'm gonna just replace the textures. I'm not going to make any fancy adjustments onto the auto material. This is up to you to make it beautiful. Have enough tutorials on it how to do it. Then I'm just gonna go into the textures, into the quicksell textures, and start connecting everything. So I'm gonna start with the snow. Let's connect here the snow and the snow normal, then the dirt normal, then the grass normal, then the stones. I'm just gonna use the rocks over here, because why not? It is just for testing, right? And then I'm just gonna enable the RVT, and I'm gonna save. Okay. And right now our landscape is gray because we need to make few things. All right. I'm just gonna save the scene here. Save current level. I'm gonna create a new folder. Scene RVT install. Right. And I'm just gonna disable the height fog. So right now you need to enable the RVT support in the engine. So edit, project settings, search for virtual, and click here enable virtual texture support. Right, it will ask to restart the Unreal Engine. Restart now. We're gonna wait a little bit to reset the Unreal Engine and go back to the level that we have. In order the RVT to work, you need to do this. Then go to the scene and open again the level. Right now we enable the RVT support, turn off the height fog, and everything turns to black. Okay, so far so good. Then we need to add a runtime virtual texture volume, drag and drop it, and name it RVT landscape. Okay. With this color picker from the transform from bound, select, click and select the landscape over here. Okay. Then zoom out a little bit. And for the virtual texture, we need to select the Landscape Auto Material RVT, okay? And then click Set Bound. We are now setting the bounds for the RVT for the landscape to work. Then I'm gonna duplicate, and we need to set a bound for the height. The same process. Color picker, landscape, RVT height, set the bound. So right now it's looking good, but it's still not working. If I click play, nothing is working, okay? What we are missing is on the landscape to tell it which RVTs to use. So I'm gonna scroll here under virtual texture, click on the double plus, first landscape auto material RVT, then RVT height, right? Now I'm gonna hit play. Now it's working, but it's too blurry. Then go to your RVT, click on the landscape, and start tweaking the size of each virtual texture tile and the bore padding. So let's try with 2. Let's try to lower this down. And then the height. Let's try with 1, 2, 1, 2, all right. And 2 for this one, okay? I'm gonna save it. Let's put 2 here. Save it. And now we have our texture work, but they are too big. So what you need to do is you need to tile them a little bit. So I'm gonna go to my this dirt and use dirt advanced UVs so I can tile the texture 20, 20. That's too much, like 15, 15. In order for you to feel that scale right, you need to tile the texture. I'm just gonna tile it to 15, each one of these. I don't say it's the right number, but we are now just installing the RVT 15, 15. All right, so now let's play it. And now the level looks good. We have all the textures here working pretty good. And now let me show you how the RVT will work. So let's go somewhere over here, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this player start, because it's easier for me to make it like that. And now we need to download an asset from Quixel Bridge. So I'm going to open Quixel Bridge. And I'm going to search for this one, this code, all right? This is an asset that I already downloaded. That is why it is called Tundra Mossy Boulder. I'm going to add it to my project. And now I have this boulder over here. And as I move it up and down, the RVT is not working. We need to set up a new material for it and then tweak it a little bit, okay? So right now it's using this material. What we need to do is go to the Megascans material. I'm going to create an instance from the Megascans and I'm going to name it MI Tundra Boulder, right? Just going to drag and drop it here at the Tundra Mossy Boulder. I'm going to open it, go to the textures, and I'm going to drag and drop the textures over here. Normal and this one, okay? Now I'm going to save and I need to apply this material. So I'm going to apply the MI Tundra Boulder over here onto this one. And still the RVT is not working, okay? So we need to enable it. Click on the blending, click here on true, and open everything, like enable everything. Let me check. And now it starts to work. As you can see here, we start to have, let me just tune down the speed. We start to have this perfect blending, okay? And by tweaking the settings, you can use the blend height, you can tweak the fall off to make it pretty good. You can blend the sides here, so it can blend with the terrain and the boulder itself. And you can also tweak this blend side off, fall off. And of course, from here, you have a lot of settings to tweak. Let me just tweak the brightness so it can go more into the scene. This is the original, and it's not looking too good, like it's too bright. Let me just make it like that. Maybe tune up the contrast a little saturated, maybe a little down on the color. And of course, you have fuzziness. You can tweak the normal map. You can boost it up. You can use a secondary normal map for detail. You can tweak the specular here at this part. If you can see the specular, you can tweak the Fresnel. You can tweak the roughness. You can make it like a wet or pretty rough. And this is how you can enable it. Also, you can tweak the ambient occlusion, the gray values. Here are the gray values. You can tweak them up. Let me just zoom a little bit with ambient occlusion. You can pretty much control everything on this one. And when I move it over here, it starts to blend with this one, with this sand. And let me just return it where it was. Hit play. And let's see how it looks. Let me just move it just a little bit up so it can blend a little bit better, and just make the blend a little bit better. Of course, when you use the procedures and some other meshes, it will look even better. But for now, it looks pretty good blending with our environment. Of course, we have these a little bit hard edges, which you can remove with a little bit of sculpting over here, but it looks pretty damn good. Okay, so this is the new stuff for you guys. Use this RVT across all your projects. Keep in mind that this RVT sometimes can be buggy due to the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, but most of the time, at least for me, it's working perfectly. Let me just try here if it can blend with this one. Let me see. Yep, it's blending with the grass itself. So yeah, this is the new stuff that I've created. I hope you like them. Download the files, install them, and start tweaking up. And final results can be as good as, let me just show you, as this one. Of course, from here you can enable and disable the CRDF, but your final results can look as stunning as this one. I spent some time here to tweak it up. I tweak up the lighting, I tweak up the procedurals, and see how homogenic and how blending it looks. And yeah, I hope this one helps you a lot. Right now, if you use all my toolkits in Patreon, like the water shader, the fog, the auto material, the Megascan shader, you can pretty much create a AAA environment. And of course, I'm going to create more and more tools and more stuff, and I'm going to mix them and blend them together so you can use the whole arsenal together and create your AAA world in no time. Right, guys? Thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone that supports me. See you in the next video, guys. Enjoy.